You're wasting the only resource you can never get back, and the Stoics knew exactly how to turn time into your greatest weapon instead of your biggest regret. Time is the only thing you actually own, not money, not possessions, not even your health, just time, and you're throwing it away on things that don't matter. Scrolling, complaining, waiting for the right moment, doing things you hate for reasons you can't even explain. The Stoics were obsessed with time because they understood something most people never figure out. How you use your time determines everything about your life, and when you learn to use it like a weapon, you become unstoppable. But most people treat time like it's infinite, and they wake up at 50 realizing they wasted decades. So what did the Stoics know about time that you don't? First, they knew you're going to die. Not in some distant future that doesn't feel real. Soon. Maybe today. Maybe in 30 years. But soon relative to how much time you're wasting right now. Seneca wrote an entire essay called On the Shortness of Life, where he explained that life isn't short, we just waste most of it. We act like we have unlimited time, so we spend it carelessly on things that don't matter. Here's what you're doing wrong. You're treating time like it's abundant. You say things like, I'll do that later, or I have plenty of time, or someday I'll start. But you don't have plenty of time. You have an unknown and limited amount, and you're burning through it right now on nothing, scrolling social media, watching content you'll forget in an hour, complaining about things you won't change, waiting for conditions to be perfect before you start what actually matters. Marcus Aurelius understood this urgency. He reminded himself constantly that he could die at any moment, not to be morbid, but to create urgency. To remind himself that every day he wasted was a day he'd never get back. He wrote that you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes, because when it arrives, you push it to the next tomorrow. You're always one day away from starting what matters. The first Stoic rule for using time like a weapon is treating it as more valuable than money. You wouldn't give someone $100 without thinking about it. But you'll give them an hour of your time without hesitation. You're protective of your money, but careless with your time. This is backwards. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. Every hour you give away is gone forever. Seneca was brutal about this. He said people are stingy with their money, but wasteful with their time. And yet time is the one thing we should be most stingy about because it's the only thing we can't replace. When someone asks for your time, you should evaluate it as seriously as if they're asking for your money. Is this worth an hour of my life? Will I look back and be glad I spent time on this? Or am I just saying yes because I don't want to seem difficult? Start treating your time like the finite, irreplaceable resource it is. Before you agree to something, ask yourself if it's worth the time cost. That social obligation you don't want to attend, that's 2 hours of your life you'll never get back. That meeting that could be an email, that's an hour gone forever. That TV show you're watching out of habit, that's time you could have spent building something that matters. Every use of time is a choice, and most people are choosing poorly. Second rule is eliminating time spent on things you can't control. This is huge, and most people violate it constantly. You spend hours thinking about what someone said to you, hours worrying about what might happen, hours complaining about things you're not going to change, hours scrolling through news about situations you can't affect. All of this is time completely wasted because you're focusing on things outside your control. Epictetus taught that you should only spend time and energy on things within your control. Your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your effort. Everything else is a waste of your limited time. When you catch yourself dwelling on something you can't control, you're literally burning your life away on nothing. You might as well be setting time on fire. Here's how to apply this. Every time you start thinking about something, ask if you can control it. Can you control what already happened? No, so stop replaying it. Can you control what that person thinks of you? No, so stop obsessing over it. Can you control the outcome of something you've already done your best on? No, so let it go. Redirect that time to things you can actually control. Your next action, your current behavior, your present choices. Third rule is using time intentionally instead of reactively. Most people live reactively. They wake up and immediately check their phone, letting other people's messages and posts determine their morning. They go through their day responding to whatever comes up instead of pursuing their own priorities. They end their day watching whatever's trending instead of doing something meaningful. Their time is controlled by external forces instead of internal intention. Marcus Aurelius started every day with intention. He'd remind himself of his principles and what he wanted to accomplish. He'd prepare mentally for challenges. He'd decide how he wanted to show up. Then he'd execute on that intention, regardless of what happened around him. He was proactive with his time, not reactive. He used time as a weapon to pursue what mattered instead of letting time be stolen by whatever demanded his attention. Start each day by deciding what would make today valuable, not what you have to do, but what would make you look back and feel like you used your time well. Then protect that time fiercely. Say no to things that interfere with it. Don't let other people's emergencies become your priorities. Don't let distractions steal time from what you decided matters. Use your time deliberately to build the life you want, instead of just responding to whatever happens. Fourth rule is understanding that how you spend your days is how you spend your life. People separate these things in their mind. They think they can waste today because they'll be productive tomorrow. They'll scroll for hours today, but start their important project next week. They'll tolerate a job they hate this year, but pursue their real goals next year. But your life isn't made up of weeks and years. It's made up of days and hours. This day, right now, is your life. Seneca wrote that people are dying in installments. They're not living, they're just delaying death by going through the motions. They're saving their real life for someday, while the days they actually have are slipping away. If you waste today, you've wasted a piece of your life. If you waste every day, you've wasted your entire life. There's no separation between now and later. Now is all you ever have. Stop waiting to start living. Whatever you're putting off until conditions are perfect, start it today. Whatever you wish you were doing, instead of what you're actually doing, change it now. Whatever matters to you, but you keep saying you'll get to eventually, get to it immediately. Because eventually never comes. You only have today. Use it like it's part of your life, because it is. Fifth rule is investing time instead of spending it. Most people spend time like they spend money on things that give them temporary satisfaction, but no lasting value. Entertainment, distractions, comfort. These aren't investments. They're expenses. They cost you time and give you nothing back. The Stoics invested their time in things that had compounding returns. Marcus Aurelius invested time in studying philosophy, which gave him wisdom he used for decades. He invested time in training his mind, which made him capable of handling anything. He invested time in building his character, which became his foundation for every decision. These time investments paid dividends throughout his entire life. Compare that to how most people spend their time on things that give them nothing lasting. Think about your time as an investment portfolio. Some activities are high-return investments: learning skills, building relationships, creating things, improving your health. These pay dividends forever. Other activities are pure expenses: scrolling, gossiping, consuming mindless content, dwelling on things you can't change. These give you nothing back. The Stoics ruthlessly invested in high-return uses of time and eliminated low-return ones. Sixth rule is using time constraints to create urgency. Parkinson's law says work expands to fill the time available for it. If you give yourself all day to do something, it will take all day. If you give yourself 2 hours, you'll get it done in 2 hours. The Stoics understood that artificial abundance of time leads to wasted time. When you create time constraints, you eliminate waste and procrastination. Marcus Aurelius had ultimate power and could have taken as long as he wanted for anything. But he created urgency by reminding himself of death. He knew his time was limited, so he didn't waste it. He made decisions quickly. He acted with purpose. He didn't procrastinate because he understood every moment mattered. You can create the same urgency without being emperor. Give yourself deadlines for everything, not just work tasks, but life tasks. Things you've been meaning to do, give them a specific deadline. Projects you've been putting off, commit to a time constraint. Goals you're pursuing someday, set a date for starting. When you add time pressure, you eliminate the tendency to delay and waste time. You become efficient and focused because you're aware time is running out. Seventh rule is cutting out everything that doesn't align with your priorities. The Stoics were ruthless about this. If something didn't serve their principles or goals, they eliminated it. No excuses, no guilt. They understood that saying yes to something that doesn't matter is saying no to something that does matter. Your time is zero-sum. Every hour spent on one thing is an hour not spent on another. Seneca wrote about how we complain that life is short, but we waste massive amounts of time on things we don't even value. Social obligations we don't enjoy, activities that don't fulfill us, people who drain us, projects that don't matter. We keep doing these things out of habit or obligation, while the things we actually care about get pushed aside. The Stoics cut this out completely. If it didn't align with what mattered, it was eliminated. Do an honest audit of how you spend your time. Track it for a week. Then look at what percentage is spent on things that actually align with your values and goals. Most people find that less than 20% of their time goes to what they claim matters most. The rest is wasted on things they don't even enjoy or value. When you treat time as precious and finite, when you use it intentionally instead of reactively, when you invest it in high-return activities and eliminate low-return ones, you become unstoppable. You're not scattered across 100 meaningless things. You're focused on what actually matters. Marcus Aurelius accomplished more in his limited time than most people accomplish in twice as long because he used time deliberately. He didn't waste it. He didn't spend it on things that didn't matter. He weaponized every hour by directing it toward his principles and responsibilities. That's why he's remembered 2,000 years later, while people who lived longer lives are forgotten. You have the same opportunity. You can waste your time like most people do, scattered and reactive and distracted, getting to the end and wondering where it all went. Or you can weaponize it. Use it deliberately. Invest it strategically. Protect it fiercely. Direct it toward what actually matters. When you do this, time becomes your greatest advantage instead of your biggest regret. So stop treating time like it's infinite, because it's not. You don't know how much you have left. Could be decades, could be days, but whatever the amount, it's limited and it's running out right now. The Stoics lived with this awareness constantly. Evaluate how you're using your time right now. Cut out what doesn't matter. Stop spending time on things you don't value just because you always have. Stop saying yes to obligations that don't align with your priorities. Stop wasting hours on distractions that give you nothing lasting. Be ruthless about protecting your time because it's the only thing you truly own. Invest your time in things that compound, skills that will serve you for decades, relationships that make your life richer, health that determines your quality of life, work that matters to you, creative pursuits that fulfill you, character development that makes you stronger. These are investments that pay dividends forever. The Stoics turned time into a weapon by treating it as precious, using it deliberately, and directing it toward what mattered. You can do the same, but you have to start now, not when conditions are perfect, not when you have more time, now with the time you have today, because today is all you're guaranteed. Use it like your life depends on it, because it does.